All right, well, good morning, everybody. Welcome to today's adventure. I'm here at Valley Forge National Historical Park, and we are going to walk the. I've been here before. I've done the camping tour by car, but we're going to walk around the park. We're going to do called the Joseph Martin Plum Trail, which runs from the visitor center and runs around the perimeter of the park. I'm solo today. My wife had an appointment not too far from here, so I dropped her off. I have a couple hours to kill, so we're gonna try and knock out this trail. It is raining out, very lightly, but it's supposed to come. Sun's supposed to come out later. So I'll show you the map, and then we'll head up to the visitor center, which is currently closed, just because I'm super early, and then we'll talk about more who Joseph Plumb was, because he's a very important figure in Revolutionary War history. Alright, so here is the map. So we're at the visitor center right here. And this line here, this is the Joseph P. Plumb Trail. So we're going to walk down this way, all the way down. Because you can also drive this. We're going to walk this today. Go all the way around the park, all the way up here. We may go visit, if we have time, we may go visit Washington's headquarters, and then stop in the chapel, and then walk all the way around back to the visitor center. So it's a loop. It's about a 5-mile loop we're going to do. So we're past most of the highlights of the driving route. So that's what we're doing today. All right, let's go. Let's hike this rainy Joseph P. Plumb Trail. All right, well, so we found the trail. So this is the Plum Trail. It's paved all the way around, so it's wheelchair accessible. But we come up here on the redoubt. We go check that out. But man, it is quiet here. It's like 7:30 in the morning. So yeah, we'll go check this redoubt out and see this, and I'll tell you all about Mr. Plumb. You got a few cars here in the morning. All right, so I mentioned we were walking the Joseph M. Plumb Trail. So who was Joseph Plumb? So he was a very important figure in Revolutionary War history. He is probably he wrote a narrative on his time in the Revolutionary War. It was published anonymously first in 1830, and he published it anonymously because at that time the Revolutionary War veterans were applying for their pension. So he wrote an anonymous narrative of what of his experiences in the war were, to help them kind of get the pension. And then a few years went by. He kind of put his name to it then, and it is it's probably the sole reference that people use when they're referencing Revolutionary War history. The Revolutionary War reenactments, they rely heavily on this book. So it tells you all about life in the Revolutionary War. So he was the preeminent person who did that, and I think it's definitely a first. It's a first person account of the Revolutionary War. So, like I said, it is the first edition is in the Library of Congress. There's also one at Morristown National Park, which I visited a little while ago. I visited that last year, so you can see one there. But yeah, Joseph Plumb was very important in Revolutionary War history, and he is the reason why we know so much about what it was like and how people lived back then, because he wrote about it in his narrative. All right, this was one of the readouts here. You can see they would use the guns, and they used that for kind of like a cover here. Yeah, and then they had these spikes up to prevent people from running up the hill. You got a little trench in here. was probably filled with water or some sort of mud or something to make it less easy to walk around this way. Yeah, there's a better look at it down that way. All right, here we have what's called the Muhlenberg Brigade. So this is a replica of some of the houses that the soldiers lived in. They do have reenactments here, which I've seen. It's pretty cool. They have like a cavalry out there, and they fire some guns. So pretty neat. Yeah, here's a little bit about the city of Huts. It was the 4th largest city in America at the time. In the winter of 1777, the soldiers immediately began building 2,000 log huts for shelter, earthworks for defense, and rubber roads to keep out of the deep pooling mud. So General Washington issued orders on the size and location of the huts. So, yeah, it kind of looked like what was like pretty. Definitely not the best conditions. Obviously, no air conditioning, no heat, no roads weren't paved, all dirt roads. And of course, Joseph Plumb enlisted in the Revolution in 1777. He was from Connecticut, and at the age of 16, he enlisted in the war and served for the duration of the Revolutionary War until it ended. So. And then he moved up in the ranks. So pretty cool. We'll go check these out here. Some of them are open. We can walk in. So we'll see how it goes. Here's some of the supplies they had. You can see how they slept on these little bunks here. Would be used for water or for other liquids. Yeah, you can see how the bunks are all laid out next to the fireplace. That was the only way they could keep warm. See, they have that's how they cook their food. And then they have the bread right over here. So, yeah, this is how they lived in here. Walking the path, you can take a close look at these monuments here. So this is the monuments for the soldiers who fought in Maine, to commemorate the officers and men from that part of New England, now known as the state of Maine, who served in Massachusetts regiments in the Continental Army under Washington at Valley Forge in the winter of 1777. Consequently, Mr. Plumb, he actually went back to Maine, and he founded a town in Maine. After the war was over, he went back and he made Maine his home. So this fits into the theme of today. So won't show you all these, but I figured I'd at least show you the main one. I'll probably show you Pennsylvania coming up, but yeah, pretty neat. We're just walking along this path. See, that's the. If you've ever driven it, that is the path to drive, and this is the walking path. This is the one we're walking. So All right, let's continue on. All right, we have come across one of the major monuments here. This is the National Memorial Arch to commemorate the war. Here's the Massachusetts monument. People were served here at Valley Forge. So we'll walk up here. I'll tell you a little bit more about this when we get closer. Alright, so this is the National Memorial Arch, and this was authorized by Congress in 1910 as a tribute to George Washington and his army who endured the winter encampment here in Valley Forge in 1777. It was dedicated on June 19th, 1917, and it stood for nearly 80 years as a symbol of the triumph achieved by Washington. But in the mid-1990s, it was badly in need of repairs. So during, so they had this cordon off, and it was closed for a couple years while they fixed it. And that was during 1996 and 97. The Freemasons of Pennsylvania contributed more than $1,500,000 necessary to preserve the arch in its original grandeur. So yeah, so it's been remade, but this was dedicated by Congress to honor everyone here for George Washington and everyone who endured the winter. So pretty cool. It's one of the highlights here at the park. Definitely a must check out if you're ever here. And I love the backdrop with the American flag in the back. That's really that's a cool shot. Alright, these are the Pennsylvania columns. Those are eagles up there. They have epitaphs of some of the major players. This is Josiah Harmer, he was a lieutenant colonel, and Thomas Mifflin, he was a major general. Over here, and then we'll walk over this way. We have a couple more. We have John Armstrong, Brigadier General, and J. Peter Muhlenberg, Brigadier General. So if you know anything about this area, we do have something called Muhlenberg College, who was named after him. And Mifflin, there is a Mifflinburg. There's a town named after him. And yeah, so we keep walking here. I don't know too much about this. I'll see if we can get some more information on this. Look at that. It's beautiful. Beautiful work of art up there. Of course, there's the arch. It's very, very prominent here. We should be able to see most of that on our walk, especially in this area. It's pretty open area. So the arch, and then back that way is the way we came. And up here, so the road, if you were driving, you would continue up this way, but we are actually going to cut into the woods on this place. So the only thing you're going to miss is the statue of General Wayne. So we won't see that, but we're going to take right here and go into the woods and continue on a path. There are restrooms up here. If you need to use the restroom, you can do that before we continue on. Nice peace spot here. I've never been on this path before. Nothing but wide open spaces. I think we're going to go up here, and then we're going to cut across. But yeah, I've driven this road a few times, so I've been at Valley Forge before, but never walked this path. So I figured this was a good time to walk this and see things I haven't seen before here. I will say the weather does paint a pretty interesting mood because it is stopped raining, but it's a little cold out, so it really gives you kind of a feel of what the soldiers went through and in that winter. We don't have the snow and the and the flooding, but it's definitely not a sunny day. So you can see the path behind me. So yeah, we're just continuing on. I don't think there's too much to see in this section, so I probably won't talk to you until we get to the next interesting monument. Coming to a little intersection here. So this is the way I've been coming. Alright, so the Martin Trail does go here, so you can take it this way. It also takes you to Mount Joy. If you haven't hiked Mount Joy, that's on the Mount Joy Trail. That's the auto road. But we are going to go up this way, the Joseph Plumb Trail. There's also a bike trail. You can rent bikes here and ride this trail. Like I said, it is paved all the way, so you have no trouble riding. I saw a couple of people running today, but yeah. So as you can see, absolutely gorgeous landscape here with the hills in the background. But we're gonna keep walking up this way, the Joseph Plumb Martin Trail, and this will take us back to where I'm parked. It's a big loop, so this is the way we want to go. Alright, for those of you taking the encampment tour, this is stop 7. That is Artillery Park there. You can see they have all the cannons and stuff. That's where they kept all the artillery when they needed to reload. So we won't be going over there today. I'm trying to keep as close to the Plum Trail as possible. But if you are driving, this is the stop. This is the parking lot here. This is the parking lot here. You have a restroom in there. So, well, it's worth checking out. It's pretty cool to see. All right, so I have not seen this spot before, but this is the site of the marquee. So on this spot, General George Washington erected his campaign tent, called a marquee. When he entered Valley Forge December 19th, 1777, he occupied this tent until December 24th, 1777, when he moved his headquarters to the Potts House at the junction of Valley Creek and the Schuylkill River. So this is the spot where George Washington first camped when he first came to Valley Forge. See all the American flags around this way. See what the other side says. Nope. Yeah, pretty cool, pretty historic site. It's right here next to the road. All right, so before you is what's called the Grand Parade, and this is the site where the American Army was unified, and we're going to talk about that more in a second here. But environmentally, it's constantly evolving. Obviously, we are here in the end of March, so everything is still spring hasn't fully arrived yet, so everything's still pretty much dead, whatever goes down there. So pretty cool. But we're going to talk about the Grand Parade and the sky and the statue here, which we will tell you who he is and why he's so important in Revolutionary War history. Alright, so here's a statue of probably one of the most important figures in Revolutionary War history. This is Major General Frederick William Baron von Steuben. And if you don't know who he is a general that came from German, and we'll come over here. But the Continental Army was woefully unprepared for the war. They were very disorganized. They didn't know the fighting techniques. So Steuben came over and he basically demonstrated his system on the Grand Parade. He spent weeks formulating a new unified manual of arms for the American Army. And he actually maintained sanitation and order paid off at later encampment, saving lives. So he actually got them to clean up the area so the air would be much more sanitary. He basically transformed them from a disorganized, unprepared group to the Continental Army that ultimately won the war. And it's because here, General Baron von Steuben, one of the most important figures in Revolutionary War history. So fascinating. Without him, who knows what would happen? But he organized the army, got them to train some different military techniques from over in Europe, and changed the course of history, you might say. So we're gonna take a little break here because I'm doing a little bit on time, and then we're gonna continue on down to our next stop. All right, so this is what's called Varnum's quarters. We're gonna head down there towards Varnum's quarters in a little bit. But if you go that way, that would take you to Washington's headquarters. Also take you to the beginning of the Horseshoe Trail. You can see the path down that way. We're not going to go that way today because we're going to continue on this way. But I've been to Washington's headquarters. Pretty neat little railroad station there and a house. Cool little area. If you're on the auto tour, it's one of the stops. It'll take you right there. But like I said, we're doing something different. We're just walking this trail today. So we're gonna try to keep as direct on it. But yeah, Washington headquarters, very cool. So we're gonna continue on this way to Varnum's quarters, and then we're gonna stop by the chapel, which is awesome. It's an awesome place. So because I want to spend some time there, and there's a cool little bookstore there. So I want to spend some more time there, and if I walk to Washington's headquarters, it's gonna I'm not gonna have time to see everything else. So let's go. All right, here's Varnum's quarters. We're gonna check this out a little bit. It's right off the trail. That's the trail walking here. So we'll go check this out. This is open seasonally. I have never seen this open. So maybe during the busy summertime, this is open. But cool, a cool little structure here. Yeah, cool little windows. Let's see if you can look inside there. Alright, so according to a little sign there, this house dates, they believe, from 1711. And while it has been restored, the stonework is original, and some of the wood structures in it. So this was the quarters of General Varnum. He was a general under George Washington. It's also where the Stevens family lived. So Varnum was staying here. The Stevens family was here, and it said very interesting. This is where they probably did court-martialed. So if an officer misbehaved and they had to be court-martialed, this is where they would have those ceremonies. But you can see the roof, how the roof is sloped, the chimneys. Pretty neat. So it's pretty cramped because Varnum led the Rhode Island group, and they were stationed in here as well. But yeah, look, absolutely beautiful. You have an old cellar that's obviously been repaired. But yeah, pretty interesting part of history here. Yeah, there's an awesome view of it there. Great little building, and a piece of history. Coming up on the chapel, the Eisenhower Chapel. Let me see if this is open. I was in it before. It's absolutely gorgeous inside. But the second time I was here, it wasn't open. So let's see if this is open. We can get inside and do some exploring. All right, the Washington Memorial Chapel. Absolutely gorgeous building here. Let's take a brief tour of this. So this is a monument to all the mothers of the nation. This is dedicated to Henrietta Heckscher. She died in childbirth June 11th of 1912. So they have this monument up here to honor all mothers, and they do a wonderful job. Most of them do a wonderful job of raising the kids. So very moving statue. So this is where they have a lot of weddings here. So obviously you would come out this way, or the bride and groom would wait in here, and they would walk and go inside the church. Man, what a beautiful backdrop. You have your wedding pictures taken here. This is all dotted up with flowers. Yeah, this is to the men of Delaware. And absolutely gorgeous. So this is new. This was just put up for the 250th. Yeah, so this was erected for the 250th anniversary of America. I guess it's going to be a bells across Pennsylvania. This bell was placed as part of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania's celebrations for the 250th anniversary of the United States in 2026. So it's a brand new, beautiful bell painting of General Washington here at Valley Forge. You can see the winter encampment here. It's a picture of the chapel. Yeah, absolutely gorgeous bell. Alright, we'll see if this is open. The church isn't open. I think the bell tower might be open. Alright, so we ran into some, I call it divine intervention, and this nice little gentleman left me into the church here. But look at this beautiful stained glasses. So he was saying these were all carved by Edward Main. They're all hand carved. They're priceless, and they just finished restoring these. So that's pretty awesome, man. Yeah, these are all hand carved. woodwork here, absolutely exquisite. Yeah, they look very similar, but they're all hand carved individually, that's absolutely amazing. And then the awesome stained glass up here. Wow, that is beautiful. I mean, I don't have words for this. A statue of General Washington here. I just can't get over this artwork. Look at this artwork. Look how exquisite that artwork is. All hand carved. Edward Maine. Hand carved. Yeah, just absolutely gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous, gorgeous chapel. I mean, look at that stained glass up there. All right, we're gonna head out. My wife just called me. She is ready, so I'm gonna finish this hike and then go pick her up. But I'll probably say a prayer first and then go. But we look absolutely gorgeous. This is the Carillon, otherwise known as the bell tower. Look at those stained glass windows there. You have veterans of World War II, all the patriots, Revolutionary War. This is all the honor roll. But the most impressive thing is look up. Look at that ceiling, man. Wow. Absolutely gorgeous. That sign says Daughters of the American Revolution. I don't know if you can see that. Alright, so this is the Justice Bell. It was used between 1915 and 1920. And it was used to call attention and gain support for the campaign for women's suffrage. The bell's name came from the fact that the suffrage movement looked upon a woman's right to vote as a matter of justice. And this bell is a copy of the Liberty Bell with the addition of established justice in the inscription. But yeah, exact copy there, the Justice Bell. And that is awesome. So there's the Carillon Tower. If you come around back, there's an awesome used bookstore here. So we're going here and see if we can get any good deals. I was here last time. I got some pretty good deals. And then they have the cabin chapel shop back there. They have some light snacks in there, so we'll go back there in a second. But see if they are in. See if they're open. See, pretty cozy. Have a lot of cool used books. Children's books. Got puzzles. You know, $4. You can get some good stuff in here. This is America 250. Yeah, man. Look at all this. Science and nature. Some mysteries. We'll go check out some mysteries. Here's historical fiction. And it's 45. Yeah, so you can get some really good deals in here. some paperback novels. Let's see what this is. Yeah, $2. See, like, so. Recommend checking this out. I'm looking around for a little bit, but definitely worth coming if you want some good deals on some used books and stuff. All right, I think I found a winner. This one's calling to me. A Walk in the Park: The True Story of What Spectacular Misadventure in the Grand Canyon. My kind of adventure book. So it's only $5. So good deal. I think I picked this one up. All right, we got a nice book there. You see a fun adventure in the Grand Canyon. Excited to read that one. So now we're gonna go back to the trail and head back to the visit center. I'll wrap up the video and then I'm gonna pick up my wife. Thanks for coming along this adventure here at Valley Forge Historic Park. All right, we are back at the visitor center. What a great walk through history. Saw a lot of cool monuments. Visited that beautiful chapel, beautiful scenery, and it was pretty peaceful. I didn't really see any. I didn't really see another person out there on the trail. So yeah, Valley Forge definitely worth checking out. The Auto Road, you'll see different things. Walking definitely gets to work out and really gets you into the history of the park. So I have to go pick up my wife. So thanks for coming along on this adventure, and we'll see you on the trail. Bye-bye.